this video we will talk about the report subscription. We know SQL Server reports can be viewed by users who have access to view the reports, and they can export these reports into a number of formats, for example Word, PDF, Excel. When we talk about reports, there are reports that user need to access at different times. But there are other type of reports that need to be scheduled. For example, there are certain reports that are created every month, some are created every week, some are created 2 times or 3 times a week. All these kind of reports that need to be created automatically through a certain schedule, they can be done in SSRS using a feature called creating subscription. Let's see what is the subscription in SSRS. Subscription is automatic generation and delivery of the reports. So reports are generated automatically and they are delivered to a number of places. For example, they can be delivered through emails, or they can be delivered to a shared location UNC path. And there is another option, this is an interesting option, which is My Delivery Report, and we will talk about it in detail. SQL Server reporting services provide 2 types of subscription. One is standard and the other one is data driven. In standard subscription, we can go to a report and we can add a subscription for that certain report, and within that subscription we can say, okay, create a report at this time in this format and deliver it to using this method to this place or to this people through email. Whatever we specify is part of that subscription, and once that schedule is executed, the report will be delivered using the specified method. Data driven subscription is quite dynamic. For example, in standard we say this report should be created on Monday at 7 AM and should be delivered to this folder in PDF format. So we in a way hard coded all these kinds of information, and then report will be created every Monday at 7 AM. In the data driven subscription, what we can specify, we can have all these sort of subscription details into our database in a table, and then we can specify like, okay, the report should be delivered at this time, and that time can come from the database. If report has a parameter, then that parameter can also be fetched from the database. For example, when the schedule will run, the system will say, oh, I need to pass a parameter, and that parameter need to come from that table, so it will automatically go execute that particular query and fetch the parameter and then execute the report subscription. Also, using data driven reports, we can deliver the same report to multiple options. For example, we can say, okay, generate this report with this parameter from this table, then deliver it to this same location. Also send the same report to this person using this email address. So we can specify a number of options using this data driven subscription. Now let's create a standard subscription and see how we can generate this. So first of all, let's go to our report manager. We can get the URL of our report manager from the configuration manager, and this is our report manager. And let's see if we have got some reports. Yes, there are a number of reports. So let me select this product report. Okay, what does it show? Yes, so it shows some products. Okay, how can we specify or how can we create the subscription on this report? You can see now we are at this path home and product reports, and within the product reports folder I am running this report, product report, and you can see these tabs like view, properties, history and subscription. Let me go to the subscription tab And within the subscription tab you can see there are two options. One is I can say new subscription and the new data driven subscription. So let's first create a new standard subscription. So I will simply go to the new subscription. Okay, here is the message. So subscriptions cannot be created because the credentials used to run the report are not stored, or if link report, the link is no longer valid. Alright, this error message is, it says, when the report is executed, the system needs to connect to the database, and it uses the data source, some data source, to connect to the database. When we specify a data source, we have to specify what is the connection or authentication mode. So let's see what data source this report uses. Okay, this report is using a shared data source, which is data sources AdventureWorks. Let's see what is this data source. So I will go to this folder, data sources. It contains only one data source at a time. I will go select this one and we'll see, okay, the name of the data source, and it's a SQL Server database, and connection string is here. Okay, here is that option. It says Windows Integrated Security. This means whoever is logged in, his credentials will be passed to the database to connect to the database. If that logged in user has the access to the database, the report will be executed, otherwise the report will not be executed. But when we are talking about subscription, that means this report will not be generated by a user, so there will be no user logged in. There must be some service at the backend which will be generating the report. Now, which authentication that service will use to connect to the data source? So for that we have to specify some credentials here, so that that service can connect to the database using the credentials that we can provide here. So I will say, I will specify my username and password and say use this username as a Windows credential when connecting to the data source. I will apply. Now we go back to the report again and select that report, go to the subscription and try to create a standard subscription. So now we can create a standard subscription. Other important point we need to note here is, when this subscription will be generated, finalized here, who will run this subscription? Who will execute this subscription when the time has come? SQL Server Agent. SQL Server Agent service will execute this subscription. If this agent service is not running, it will not allow me to create the subscription. So to create a subscription, I need to have this agent service running all the time. Okay, so let's now create our subscription. First option is report delivery options. So we can specify a number of report delivery options. At the moment this combo shows only one option, which is Windows File Share. The other delivery option is we can provide through emails as well. Reports can be delivered to certain users to any email addresses through the email as well, but that is not listed here. We need to specify some email configuration. When the system will find those configuration, it will automatically list that email option as well. So at the moment the only option available here is Windows File Share. Now when I say Windows File Share, that means the system will generate the report to a UMC path, to a shared location. Okay, so I need to provide that path. That path needs to be a shared location, so let's go and create somewhere a shared location. So in data training, I will create a new folder and scheduled reports. Okay. Let's see. We share this to read and write. What is this? Remove. So I have shared this folder now with the administrator and my account, and I have given read and write access to this folder. Okay, now this location is shared, and if I go to my computer and within the data training and schedule reports, so this is the path that I will specify for the reports to be delivered. Okay, now which format the report should be rendered? CSV, Acrobat, HTML, Excel, PDF. So we can specify say Excel, and credential used to access the file share. Now the system need to write this report at this location. We need to specify the user that has the right access to this location. So I can specify my user, and we can say override an existing file with the newer version, or do not override if the file is previous, if a previous version exists, or increment the file. And we can specify the option that suits us. And next comes the subscription processing options. So what are these options? It says specify options for subscription processing. Run the subscription when the scheduled report run at complete. So we can specify a schedule here. So let's say, okay, so here we can specify our schedule, and we can see we can specify based on hour, week, day. So we say run this report and Thursday and 17:45. So if not, this report will run on Monday and Thursday at 17:45, or the time we can specify. And then we can also mention like the schedule that we have specified, like this report should run every Monday and every Thursday at this given time, and this schedule should start from today. So we can specify a date here, and then this schedule should stop at this. So we can specify the end date of this schedule. For example, this report is supposed to be generated for 2 months or 3 months. We can say, okay, after 3 months stop this report. So this schedule will automatically be stopped. Right now, let me specify 43. So it's 41 now. Okay, now we have specified a schedule, and that's it. We say okay, I need to specify the password again. Okay, now the subscription has been created. And also we can, if we don't need the subscription, we can select and delete, or if we want to edit something, we can go and edit anything anytime. Okay, let's see when this report is generated. Yes, so we specified 17:43, and the report is generated at 17:43, and we can see, yes, so you can see the product report and all the data is delivered to this folder in the Excel format. Okay, so we have created a standard subscription, and we have seeing the report delivered to a shared location based on this standard subscription. Usually we have many reports. Some are created every month, some are created every week, and there could be some reports they could be created once or twice a year as well. And now managing all these scheduled reports is not that easy and simple. Say we have 5 scheduled reports that are generated every month. For example, one is generated for debit, one is credit, one is overall, and something related to some other reports. Then how will we specify the schedule? In this report we specify, in this subscription we specify the schedule here. Okay, we said okay, the report should be generated on Monday and Thursday and at this time. And so we have 20 reports, 5 are monthly, some are weekly, and some are randomly generated at different times. If we specify their subscription schedule or the schedules when they should be generated, separate schedule for every report, then it will become very complex to manage all these schedules. For example, if the SQL Server database need to be updated, we need to install some updates, or something else has to be done, and we need to bring our servers down. We don't know what we will be missing. If there are 20 reports, some are monthly, some are weekly, and the schedules are specified separately for every report. That means somebody need to go through all these reports and need to know, okay, report number 1 is generated at this time, report number 2 at this time, report number 3 at this time. That will be very, very complex to manage, and when the servers will be down and when they will become up, just to ensure like which reports are missed and so that they can be rerun, this is not a simple job. So how can we deal with this sort of situation? There is option in SSRS. If we go to the site settings, please remember we are in here. This is our report manager URL. Within the report manager URL we can do a lot of things, and one of the options specified here is this site settings. So let's go to the site settings. Okay, in site settings I have 3 tabs, and one of the tabs is schedules. Okay, what are these schedules? These schedules allow me to create shared schedules. So I can create schedules that can be used for different subscriptions. For example, I can create a monthly schedule, and I can say every month for all these months on the calendar day 1. So, and start time say 1 a.m. in the morning, and instead of calendar day 1, let's go for first week, and first week and Sunday. So we can say the first Sunday of the month at 1 a.m. this schedule will run. And if we want to stop the schedule, say if we want to set the schedule for 2 years or 1 year or 6 months, we can give an end date using this option here and selecting date from here. Now I have created this schedule, which this will run every month, the first Sunday of every month, and 1 a.m. in the morning. I can create another schedule, which I can say weekly schedule, and this should run every week, repeat after number of weeks. So now every Sunday, yes, so repeat after every week, again on Sunday. Okay, and the monthly schedule I said should run on first Sunday of the month at 1 a.m. and over here I can say at 1:30 a.m. So I'm giving half an hour to finish if there are some jobs that will be using the monthly schedule. Okay. Again I can specify the end date if you want to, and then if I want to create another schedule which is the day schedule every day, and repeat after every day, and say this should run at 2 a.m. in the morning. So now I have created 3 schedules. Okay, something new, yes, schedule name is missing. I can say daily schedule. Right, so now we have created 3 schedules. These are shared schedules. They are available at the system level: monthly schedule, daily schedule, and weekly schedule. And you know, monthly schedule will run the first Sunday of every month 1 a.m. Weekly schedule will run every Sunday, the first Sunday of every week, and 1:30 a.m. and daily schedule will run at 2 a.m. every day. That means we know all our schedule reports know. So if they should be using, if they are using these schedules instead of their own schedules, if they are using these shared schedules, we know they will start at 1 a.m. and they will finish half 2 or somewhere before 3 or even before half 2. So now we know if our server needs some updates, we can select a time at after 3 or during the day, and we will be sure like no subscription or no schedule reports will be missed. How can we now use these schedules? Let's go back to home, and I will go to the same report for which we created the subscription first, and I will come here to the subscription, go and edit this subscription, and in this subscription this option was like I created the schedule manually for this report. Now I can go and say select a shared schedule, and I can see all the 3 schedules that are generated. If you want this report to be generated weekly, I can say weekly schedule, and now this report will be run also at 1:30 every Sunday of every week starting 24th. So starting from today, every Sunday of the week at 1:30 in the morning this report will be run. So the best option for the subscription is to first create the shared schedules and then create the subscription. Once we have the shared schedule and all our subscribed reports use these shared schedules, we exactly know when these reports will be run. So if our server is down during this time, we will know these reports have not been generated, they need to be regenerated. Okay, now let's talk about null delivery report option that we saw here, this null delivery report option, and this is related to data driven. Okay, let's create a data driven subscription and see what is null delivery report option. So we go here back. Let's say I have this prod report. With data driven subscription, I can first of all pick up the parameters for this report from the database, from some table, and can deliver it at multiple locations. Like I can deliver it to multiple emails, and at the same time I can deliver the same report at some shared location as well. That's fine. We have seen standard subscription, and the data driven subscription we need to go to a table and set these values into table, and then use the query to pick up these values and the parameters, and then use them in the data driven subscription. So let's go to this report and go to subscription page, and we say new data driven subscription. So we should generate cache for this report. And over here I can say Windows file share or null delivery provided. Windows file should we have seen in the standard description. I will explain you what is this null delivery provider. This is helpful when we know our report is very processor consuming. It takes a lot of time to generate. For example, it uses very complex queries at the back, and if once that report is generated, the data is not going to change very rapidly. For example, if we say we have a report for our monthly sales, so if we want to see what were our sales in January, they are not going to change. And if that sales for January report is being used again and again by different people, so we don't want the same query to be executed every time when somebody want to view the January sales or last December or November sales. So one of the good option in SSRS that we can cache our reports. So if we have such a report where the data is not that dynamic and doesn't change very rapidly, even if say somebody generates a report and for the next half an hour or 1 hour the data will not change, so we can specify some settings and say cache this report when this report is run first time. So when the report will be run by the first user, the query will be executed, and if that query takes 1 minute or 2 minutes on the server, it will produce some results and the system will cache those results, and when the second user will access the same report, the query will not be executed. The system will not use the database or the processor for 1 or 2 minutes again. It has already cached those results that were saved by the first user. So for the second user, the report will be very quick because everything comes from the cached data. But if we configure one report to cache its data, for the first user it will still take time. So if that takes 3-4 minutes for the first time, so the user who will try to access that report for the first time, even if we have specified the settings for the cache to be cached, the first user will have to wait for those 3 or 4 or 5 minutes for the report to come in. But for the second user it will be fine, it will be good. Now what if we want to specify, what if we don't want our first users to wait for those 3-4 minutes as well? And what if we want, whenever the first user will come in, the report is already cached, and when the user try to access that report, it sees the results immediately. Over there we can make use of this null delivery provider. So null delivery provider will not actually deliver the report to some shared location or through email or something else. It will run that report and will simply cache the results of the report into the report cache. Report cache means the SQL Server reporting system uses the database. It has one of its temp database. It stores all the temporary results or the cached reports into that temporary database. So null delivery provider will generate that report and will store the results of the report to the cache. And we can specify a shared data source. To fetch the dynamic details for this report, we can specify using the shared data source, and we have one shared data source. We can specify this, and for this we don't really need any parameters to fetch from some report, so I can simply say select A as this to give some query. Okay, next, and this report has no parameters, so I don't need to specify any parameter. If I have some parameter, I could have used the results of my query to specify those parameters. And again, when it comes to schedule, I can specify my schedule. So if it is monthly or weekly or daily, I can say I know what is this daily schedule, and it is at 2 a.m. every Sunday, Monday, all the days starting from today, and then I can finish. Now this report, every day at 2 a.m. in the morning, the system will generate this report and will cache the results of this report, and whenever the user will come in the morning and will log into the system and access this report. The results are already prepared, and the system will simply pick up those results from the cache and will just show it to the user.